Hi there. In this video I'm going to show you how to replace the internal connections, the whole module for the signals and for the windshield wipers and washers on a Volkswagen Lupo. First thing, go and disconnect the battery itself. And we are here, and I prefer to disconnect the negative. I'm not sure which one of them is the correct one, positive or negative, but I feel like it's better for me to work on the negative because the whole chassis of the car is a negative. So when it's off, basically the positive has nothing else to connect to by mistake. Make sure you put it in there deeply so it doesn't pop out by itself and somehow connect this. If you have a battery cover from a new battery or something like that, put it on, just to be sure. What you want to do now, put in the ignition and rotate it just enough. I need to move the steering wheel a little bit to allow me. So this is not locked anymore, because you need to rotate it like this, and on the back of it there's a hole. In that hole we need to put in a flathead screwdriver, and I will show you what to do with it. So here we are. Keep it on the lower part of the hole. As you can see, I'm right at the bottom of the hole, and push it in there until you are able to get behind something, but I'm not yet there. I might need to remove this cover, which has two Phillips screws at the sides and a Torx T25 in the middle, and this comes off. Only clips hold it together. If you have a shorter screwdriver, you might be able to do it from the top, but I don't have one, so need to do it from the bottom. So this comes out. Undid the screws again, one right there, one there, and one there, and now you simply start yanking on it, and it will slowly come apart. Yeah, quite hard to do with one hand, but it is doable, and it's out. Now we should have way more room in there. Yep, and I'm locked behind it. So look at the airbag. You could see it move. So now the bottom of it is unlocked. Don't let it lock, so put something underneath it here, because we need to do the same on the other side, but we need to rotate the steering wheel so the other side is at the bottom now. This is literally not allowing it to lock back in place, so now, yes, it will go quite hard. We don't have the servo. Now we do the same from the bottom part. And at this point it's unlocked on both sides. It's still holding a bit at the bottom, but we will start yanking on it slowly. Remove the screwdriver, slowly pull it, but it will try to lock at the bottom, so I cannot do this with one hand without damaging anything. Be careful, because when it unlocks it will try to come out fully and you might rip the airbag cable. Again, have your car without a battery contact for at least 15 minutes with the battery disconnected. So this I need to do off camera, so I don't... actually I managed to do it. And you can see this. We need to disconnect two things. Firstly being the airbag cable. Kind of hard for me to film and also show you that. Yeah, I think I need to put a flathead underneath it so it helps me pop it out. And it's out. And the connection for the horn. Yeah, really, everything is stubborn in here, and I just bent it. So try not to do that. Ah, come on, I need both hands to pull this out. It's really hard to get out. Be back in a second. I have never in my life seen this type of connector holding so hard. You can see how it scratched this when it went out. And I basically used 2 pliers and a lot of wiggling to get it out. But hey, we have the airbag out. Put it aside. You normally put an airbag with this face down in case, God forbid, it activates by itself. At least it doesn't get propelled in the air. In theory, if you want to remove the airbag coil from the steering wheel itself, you need to undo this and these torque screws. I don't want to do that, so basically I need to disconnect it right here, 2 clips, and now it should be coming along with the airbag. But try to not rotate it, because if you rotate it more, you will have a problem. When you rotate the steering wheel, when you put everything back together, you can rip it. So make sure it stays in this position. It has its limits here, but when you remove the steering wheel, these limits don't help it, and you can go 180 or 360 degrees all around, and that's bad. So maybe even tape it to this to make sure it doesn't move. Basically, this is how I'm getting it out of the way, and I will be holding on to the steering wheel as good as I can. It's tight, but not overly tight, to say like that. So yeah, with normal tools and holding the steering wheel like this, it's doable. If you have a second person to hold the steering wheel, even better. And we do have a marking also on the steering wheel. You can see that little dot. So actually no, that's the steering column. What's that? Yeah, it's the steering column. So we kind of align the marking. They are not fully aligned, about 1 millimeter off at the moment, you can see, but yeah, it's okay. Now in theory, from what I know, you can just wiggle it out. And here it is, with this, which again you want to make sure it remains in the proper position. It actually has some kind of auto lock. Doesn't rotate more than this by itself, but I add it to that, and this is what disengages the auto lock from what I can see. Okay, interesting. So maybe the position is more important when you install a new one, not sure. But you make sure that you are in the middle with this, and it can rotate the same amount to the left and to the right, so you don't rip it when you turn your wheel. Steering wheel out of the way. We can lower this to the max, and in theory this you can push it back. It's held in place with a spring, and you can unlock this. Go this to the minimum, this to the minimum, and slowly wiggle this out and make sure you don't rip it, but it should be coming out. At this point, undo 3 flathead screws. Maybe even before, you should be removing the connections. Push on this, and you also need to lift on the top. This is a stupid connector, quite hard to do with one hand, but lift on the top and push on this, and obviously pull it back. So top is lifted, and now I can pull this thing back. This is not enough space in here, so this is the one that you will get the hardest out, then the other one in the back. And yeah, all of them have exactly the same situation. On one side you have this, and on the other you need to push on that for them to release. All of them are the same. For this little thingy, you need to lower it. You can see it has a clip right down in the middle. So if you lower it and start pushing it, as long as that clip right in the middle of the screen is not locked, it's going to come out. Not extremely easy to do. Might need to remove the cover on the wires from the contact for this to come out. Not sure about that. Yeah, probably I need to. For that we have a clip right here which we undid. Camera focus, undid that clip there, and we have another clip right here. now this plastic is loose in here, so we can remove this. If you also need to remove the contact, this, come on, really hard to film in there, maybe from this direction. This plastic can be lifted slowly upwards, like this. Then find a way to get rid of it, yank it out of there. It's a bit annoying, it doesn't really fit in here in any proper position. Kind of hate it, but hey, we got it out. And if you also want to remove the contact connection, a clip in here, and this one also has the same type on the bottom, so hold on to both of them and in theory just yank it out. Hard to do. Where is it? And it's out. But yeah, for me that wasn't necessary. In theory we got everything out and we can remove this, I think. Yeah, first one out. I'm opening this up because we had some smoke coming out of this, so I'm not sure which one of them created the smoke, but I don't want to have a fire. Maybe this hair created the smoke. Does seem a bit charred, but does hair conduct electricity? Weird. Not coming out because I forgot about this connector, which is exactly the same as the others. Push on this and it's out. So in theory now, come on, another one underneath it. Undid that one also, and we are out, and we can release this from its grip. Yay. There's our problem right there. So something happened that this started to arc. I will scrape a little bit in there to see what we can find, but anyway, this needs replacing. Where's the part code? Here's the part code. But I will be also replacing this one because I don't want to be coming in here anytime soon again. Where's the part number on this? No part number. That's weird. Anyway, there's that. Now let's try and figure out how did this thing started to arc. What? It's literally a hole in there. What in God's name happened here? There's literally a hole in there. Big gaping hole. What? This is freaking weird. Yes, there are probably two different polarities here and here, but how could an arc start to appear in there and then with the... Is there a bigger electrical problem with this car? No, I don't think it's another electrical problem. This doesn't have the required shape anymore. This is much more rounded, as you can see. This is literally, it has kind of an edge to it. And why I say that, if we look here, we can see where it started to wear on this part. This is not from an electrical short, because this would be also worn down. This is just mechanical wearing. So I think in time particles of metal just got closer between these two, heated up in this area, then the plastic started to conduct, because the distance is much too big for 12 volt to just jump over it. But if we would have another kind of electrical problem, a discharge from somewhere else, this gap from here to here is bigger than this gap from here to here. So the voltage would more likely jump from here to here than trying to make this huge gap. So yeah, the plastic started conducting. Awesome. Let's get a new one of these. A lot of the arcing started happening quite close to this. So there's actually another chance that this remained in an improper position, shorting these two basically at a point in time, and that melted the plastic and made it slightly conductive, and from there it went just worse and worse and worse. Yeah, I know, I'm recording a screen. I will link this video in the description. Do you see that? Burned exactly in the same area. This is the timestamp. So yep, it's slight problem with this particular stock that's also on the VW-T4 transporter. Exactly same point. So yep, no other issues. It means we can put a new one in there. The replacement part has arrived. A bit more crudely made, but yeah, hopefully it will last for the lifetime of this car, which I'm guessing isn't that much anymore, because it's quite an old car at this point already. But yeah, a few good years this should last, I think. I wanted at a point to put this instead of this to replace the stock itself, but then I realized maybe they are quite close but not 100% identical, so the risk was too big putting the new one fully in there. Actually, I tried to show you, but I don't know what I did. I wasn't showing you. Something like this, and on top of it we come with the other thingy. They somehow do a line, and then we put the 3 screws through them. Half decent. One of the holes has a big bar, so I need to push the screw through it to go into place. Next step, we need to lock this thing in place. So go with it lower until those enter the channels. Hey, this is not going to go easy, is it? I cannot reach the channels. Be back in a second. Nah, I was way too much in. It needs to come to the exterior, and now I should be able to. Not yet. Still not going into the channels. Something not allowing me. Yeah, I think it's going now. It's a new part, it will fight us all the way, and it's locked. Sorry that I couldn't properly show you, but it's locked. Not moving anywhere. Okay, great. Let's plug everything in. You cannot mess this up, they only go in the required place. They are keyed, all of them. Both connectors on this side are in. This one with 2 wires is in. Both of these are in. Yeah, put the cover back over this, and not connecting the airbag that I will connect last. So let's put in the steering wheel. Obviously tightened the screws. Don't over tighten them, you are tightening into plastic, so tighten them just normally. Make sure you align the dot with the line, and then put on the nut. This you need to tighten really well. You really don't want that coming loose by itself. Now that I'm looking at it, I think this is actually the release that allows this to start rotating as much as it wants. Not what I thought before. I think this is it. Plugged in the airbag, and also this, which is the contact for the horn itself. So let's push this in place and basically lock it in, but I kind of want to do this with both hands to be able to align it well. Now we can stay well out of the way and plug in the airbag, and it's plugged in. Let's start putting on the covers. Make sure the steering is as low as it gets, and slide this in. It's not extremely easy to slide it in there, but it can be done. Although I'm actually kind of fighting it now. I think I need to go like this and actually spread it a little bit, yeah. And this needs to be pushed in here. It's kind of hard to do this and also try to film for you at the same time. And it went in. So there's that. Now let's come with the bottom in. In theory you just come with it right here. Make sure this goes in the slot because it has its dedicated little slot. And it has a ton of clips all around, so it's basically just a game of making sure you don't break them while you clip it in, but I cannot do this with one hand, I think. Although, started to go in actually. Let's do the other side and be back when it's finished. Make sure you are at the correct level also like this, but I don't think it goes in other way. Put in the Torx middle screw. This is gonna be fine to align. Fun and games. I think I need to align it with my hand and only tighten it. Yeah, and only now tighten it. Really? Finally. Be back when this is tightened. Now put back the two Phillips screws, one on each side. Let's put back the contact and hope for the best. Basically it's just a matter of aligning it. Oh, and I think I left the contact on in the car. That's a bad idea. Make sure the contact is not switched on in the car when you connect it. Take two. Move it in the correct position. Press it down if you can while tightening, but the same thing as always, both hands required. Properly tightened. Let's go and see what it does. Now let's see what happens. Let's hear the back one. Oh no, this is the back one when you press on it. I kind of forgot. And this is just the timer when it's down. Let's see if it throws some water. It does. How do you throw water onto the back one? Don't tell me this doesn't have that. That would be actually interesting. Nah, it has it, but it's just a cheap part, so it's not that nice to feel. You can hear it. Okay. And we are done. Issue solved. Phew. So, hope this video helps you. In which case, please give it a like. Check out my other videos, and as always, see you in the next one. And yes, if you can afford it, buy an original part, because this one is a bit more wobbly compared to the original part. So yeah, there's that. And you can see also the color, but this was used for a lot of years, so that's why it's a bit more shiny. Anyway, good enough for this car. But if you can afford it, get the new part, the original part. So yeah, that's about it. Bye.